Welcome to another episode of the A.K.A podcast, A.K.A the podcast where we ask questions like, how many points do we need to come in 24th place of the Champions League? Is Araujo a double agent? And will we ever have Ahmad and Karam on a podcast together ever again? So, Karam is currently on a trip with his friends to California, and so it's just Amr and I today. I honestly, the honest truth is, he's been banned for trying to take over my hosting role. So yeah, that'll teach him. For anyone trying to revolt against me as the leader of this podcast.
But weren't we all on the pod with the Sultan, the trivia one?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, that exists.
What exists, bro? What are you talking
That
about?
trivia pod exists.
Not on Spotify.
Dude,
That is, in my
Araujo,
opinion, the only.
Araujo is not just a double agent. This guy is full blown like Mossad, dude.
The
This
Mossad, not to
guy,
be confused with the Mossads.
yeah. No, this guy's a terrorist, dude. This guy,
For
Araujo.
real, bro. He's like, any Champions League game he starts against any decent competition, something has to go wrong. So, and like, he's actually been having kind of a disaster class recently. Uruguay lost 5-1 to the
I saw
US,
that. I
which is
saw that.
like not. He played that game and
He played
got
that game.
terrorized. Yeah, so
Yeah, when we lost to Madrid, didn't he get red the 4-1 as well?
yeah,
Or
yeah, and
yeah, and then
he got. So for context, we're talking about the Champions League game from yesterday. Barcelona played Chelsea. It did not go well. Araujo got a red card, and Barcelona lost 3-0. It started off pretty well, I'd say. Like, we were playing pretty well. It seemed like a pretty even game, even after the first goal. And I'd say that the real turning point was that red card, which is, I think, what made it hurt so badly. That the first goal was an own goal that was just like Koundé. I don't know, bro. He kind of reminds me of like when I used to play basketball for this one coach who was like terrorizing me, and I wouldn't want to go on the court. I'd be like sick to my stomach, and that's what he looks like, bro. He's on the field. He scored the goal, and he just looked like dejected after. It was so sad.
You see, dude. I mean, like you were saying, I agree. Like before the start of the game, Ferran obviously missed an absolute sitter, dude.
Which
Absolute
is
sitter.
pretty typical of Ferran. Like, he misses sitters often, but he's also been scoring a lot of goals, so he puts himself in good positions. But I would like to see what his expected goal to goal ratio is, because I bet it's not that great.
Yeah, and I would also say that like lots of those goals come when he's at striker. This game he was playing as a left winger, and I feel like he's
Yeah.
just so awkward there. Like he doesn't know how to run in behind, obviously on the wings. He doesn't know how to hold up the ball when he's on the wings, and then apparently can't even finish when he's on the wings. Right. All I
Yeah.
know is that if we had Ferran in the US, we wouldn't have a gun problem because he'd miss all his shots, dude. That's what I see. Okay.
How long have you been holding on to that one?
That one I just came up on the spot, dude. I swear.
Good, very good.
No, but seriously, like, I thought that we were still in the game until the red card for me. Like, I
Yeah.
remember we were talking about it in real time when it was happening, and you were saying like we were getting spanked, which is true.
For
I
10
think
minutes, like
for 10
leading up to
minutes,
the goal
okay,
and a little bit after, yeah.
exactly. Like, and I thought that like, dude, we're away at the bridge, like against who's currently second in the Prem. Like I didn't see it as that big of a problem to get spanked for 10 minutes. Like I feel like that happens to every team.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in any game that you're gonna get spanked for some time. But then again, the turning point is the red card. Like even the own goal. Yeah, they scored some offside goals before that, but like the own goal is not like a well worked like finish. You know what I mean? It was like a bit jammy, and it goes in.
It was
And I thought we were
extremely
still
jammy. The ball was set. It had stopped moving, and then Kunde just didn't realize it was
Yeah, I
behind
think
him.
it's the first own goal where there's also an assisted own goal. You know what I mean? Like Ferran
Yeah.
technically assists Kunde on the goal. Like it's shambolic,
Hmm.
dude. It's
Yeah.
shambolic.
So I mean, now looking at like the bigger picture, Barcelona has 7 points in 5 games. They're 16th place on the table, but there are games happening right now, games happening in a couple hours. So we'll see where we land after that. But it would be it would things would have to go really wrong in the next 2 games for us to get knocked out completely. Right now, the 25th place team has 5 points in 5 games, and there are some teams still to play. So
Yeah, and as bad as we were against Chelsea, and as well, I would also include PSG in that, like the two big games that we had to face in our group stage games. Like our next two that are coming up are like Spartak, like or
it's
Slavia Praga.
Frankfurt, yeah, Frankfurt and Slavia Praha, which
Okay,
Frankfurt is not the
realistically,
Frankfurt of last year. They have
right,
four
right.
points in 4 games, and Praha has 3 points in 5 games. So we should win them both. And but even then, to make it into the top 8, which is automatic qualification to the round of 16, it's actually still doable, but things would have to break our way for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see us. I don't see us making the top eight, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, for me, it's not that big of a deal. Obviously, like in the grand scheme of things, like if you just isolated like the fact that we're gonna get top 24, it's not that bad, right? It's just more so to do with like how this projects on like the rest of the season, right? Like going forward, like what this sends like as a message going forward for like the big games, right, in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So that's my bigger concern. And like I don't know how you want to do this. Like if you want to go into like more specifics about the game, but I also had like a broader point that I want to bring up.
Yeah, yeah, we can stay broad for now. Do you know how many goals we've conceded in our 5 Champions League games?
So that's you want it's a lot. So
You want to
we
guess?
conceded
You know,
3 against Bruges. I remember. Obviously, we conceded to Newcastle. We conceded to PSG. We conceded obviously 3 last night. I'm saying like at least like 10, maybe
10
8, 10.
exactly. So the only teams that have conceded more goals than us through 5 games are Dortmund, Union Saint Gillois. I don't even
Yeah,
know what
the
these people are.
Belgian, I
And
think.
Frankfurt, Copenhagen, and the bottom of the league, Ajax and Kairat. So like we're like bottom 10 when it comes to goals conceded.
Big
What
concern.
I mean, you know what I realized watching the game yesterday? Cubarsi is just a Bartra regen.
No, man, no, don't do this to my guy. Don't do this to my guy. He's
Dude, you
like,
saw how he got smoked by Neto?
bro. I'm gonna tell you something though. This guy is like a 16-year-old man whose dad left the house, dude. Like he's all alone and he has to take care of like a family of 6.
Is this like true, or are you saying like
No, I'm telling
like
you, that's how
on the field? Yeah,
that's the situation my guy's in.
yeah.
Like when you have someone who's meant to be the captain of your team in Araujo getting the most, can I say retarded? Like retarded red that I've seen
Yeah,
in the world, dude. Like, and he does this every big game. And I see him like
yeah.
alone, um, even after the red. Like, yeah, Eric comes next to him, but in front of him is De Jong and Fermin, who have were doing essentially no
I
defensive
mean,
work.
here's the thing though. Like, if you look at our defensive names, like I
Oh, sorry,
don't
sorry. Last
know.
thing, last
Yeah,
thing. You also have absolutely two bozos on the wing, much more Kunde than Balde. Like Balde, he just flies forward, but Kunde is like he's staying back and he's being a bum as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, when you look at our potential center back pairings, it's tough to come up with a pairing that you want to play against in the Champions League against a competent team that has like, quick strikers and quick attacking players that can take advantage of the high line. There really isn't. Like, I mean, even watching Eric Garcia multiple times, he would try and hedge towards the ball and then not be quick enough to recover. Same thing with Cubarsi, he's just not quick enough. Araujo is quick enough, but he has like an IQ of 50. So
That's
it,
serious.
so So you just end up like our center back situation is a real issue for sure.
I also don't think that Flick is doing any favors by not, for example, including like a Casado in front of them at the very least, right? That I thought he was perfect for a game like today, where you need some energy, right? Where you need some
Hmm.
energy specifically in the midfield. Because you look at Chelsea, they're like monsters going back and forth, right? They look like they were attacking as a whole team, a whole 11, and they were defending as a whole 11. They were
Yeah.
monsters.
What I'd
But
say
I
is,
agree with you, man.
yeah,
Like for me, going forward, if we don't buy a center back in January, if we get further than the semis, that's just pure like attacking masterclass by the forwards. To be honest with you,
definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think speaking of Ferran, I think that was probably the only other than maybe playing Casado. I mean, he did have Eric Garcia at the DM, so he is trying to give some defensive help. But I agree, Casado probably would have been better for this kind of a game. And then also, I would have liked to see Rashford play. I mean, when we're back, like it's a similar situation where we're back in the UK, and he played well against Newcastle, and he's been playing really
I,
well in the Champions League. I understand the urge to play Ferran when he's been our top scorer, but like you said, playing him on the wing, it's
yeah,
uh, it's tough.
for me, I think that the main reason why Rashford didn't play was because he just come back from the flu. So like he hadn't played the last two games before that. And when he came on, it's not like he was clearly off the pace a bit. The thing
Right.
is with Eric, and this might actually bring me to the broader point that I want to talk about. The thing is with Eric is that yes, on paper, I guess you have a ball winner now in midfield, but the game just completely passes him by. At least at center back, like you touched on it, right? Is that like physically he just can't get back, right? He's still better than a bum like Araujo that just again IQ of 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for me, I thought, and we commented on it a lot, is that De Jong was terrible, right? But for me, Eric at DM had a ghosted game. Like I feel like the entire game passed him by completely. Like I feel like he was always two steps behind at all times with the pace that Chelsea were playing at, right? So for
Right.
me, the reason why he did play Eric was because of the game on Sunday against Bilbao, right? I thought that he saw him play at DM against a team like Bilbao, and he thought that you know what and I agree with it. He had a good game, put a shift in, but there's like levels to physicality, and this kind of brings me to the broader point that I want to talk about, which is: are we at an inherent disadvantage playing in La Liga compared to these Premier League teams? My point
I
is
mean,
that
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think no doubt that we're at this. It's a less competitive league. We're also playing against teams that just play a completely different style to the majority of the teams that you're going to face in the later stages of a Champions League campaign. They're playing like a low block, and we're used to having possession, not having to fight for possession. We're used to being able to play a high line because the other team is playing a low block. So yeah, I'm 100% sure it puts us at a disadvantage, but that hasn't necessarily been an issue for Barcelona teams in the past. As long as you have competent players, then you can adjust for sure. So I wouldn't put all the like we it's not like we've been playing in La Liga for a couple of seasons, you
I agree with you, but I do think, especially because I feel like what you're referring to was like the 2010s, right?
know.
Like
Mm-hmm.
mainly, where I feel like there's been a step up in the Prem in terms of physicality and like sports science that, and obviously this is influenced by money and like the big players being able to get there and stuff like that, which Tebas has done quite the opposite. Whereas like the bigger teams in La Liga, I guess they can kind of survive. But then, like for example, right? This weekend, coming off this game against Chelsea, we're gonna play at Levis in the league, right? We just
Right,
beat Bilbao without getting out of first gear 4-0, right? And this is meant to be
right,
one of the better teams in La Liga, right?
right.
I was just watching that game against Chelsea, and I just felt like these guys are on a completely different level physically. Like I felt like it was like boys against men, to be honest with you. Now, Can we um overcome that in a one-off game? I think so. I think so. I think we have the quality to be able to get past that, especially at home. I feel like we can play more of our game. I feel like against Chelsea, we were completely playing their game. I feel like we were watching a Premier League game. Um, but there's definitely like iron. What's the saying? Like iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah,
Which
never
is
heard
that like
that,
these
but
Premier League teams? I think that's the saying. Something like that.
okay.
Something. It's like iron sharpens. Point is that like, dude, for the longest time, for example, you look at like a team like PSG. The main criticism behind them, why they could never do it in the Champions League, it was felt like
They're
they were
Farmers League.
they were just bumming everyone in
Yeah,
the French league, right? And
of
then
course.
I felt like an increase in quality in the French league is what actually pushed them. You know, that's how
I agree.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
now that I look back at it, I totally agree that there has been a step down in La Liga as of late. I think that I would always have this argument with people where they would be like, "Oh, but you guys play in La Liga, like who cares, whatever." And my argument was always like, "Okay, the Premier League is more competitive, especially at the top or from season to season, but the average team in La Liga, in my opinion, was better than the average team in the
Right,
Premier League."
you'd have Sevilla win the Europa League. You'd have Villarreal winning the Europa
Right.
League.
You'd have
You'd have
Malaga
Bilbao
getting
winning.
to the quarterfinals. You'd have Valencia like winning the Champions
Right.
League back in the day. Like there was definitely the average team was definitely very difficult to play, and part of it was physicality. Do you know what the record is for Prem teams against La Liga teams in Europe this season?
Funny you say that. I wrote down lots of them in the Champions League because I was going to bring
Mhm.
up this point. So Tottenham have beaten Villarreal. Villarreal, who are third in La Liga right now, 1-0. Liverpool have beaten Atletico 3-2. Liverpool have beaten Real Madrid 1-0. Liverpool, by the way, who have lost like six of their 12
Yeah,
games this season in the Prem. Newcastle beat Bilbao 2-0. Barca obviously just lost last night 3-0 to Chelsea. I would say the only notable win was that we beat Newcastle, and you
it's
could
not the
argue.
only notable win. It's the only win. 8-1. Yeah, that's the only win for any La Liga team against any Prem team this season. So yeah, I mean, I think the numbers back up what you're saying. Like you have Athletic Bilbao has 4 points in 5 games. Villarreal has a point in 5 games. So even Atletico has 6 points in 4 games. So
And
it's
the thing is,
definitely. Mhm.
Ahmed, the thing is that like I agree with you, dude. For the longest time, I would die on the hill of like, no, dude, like this is La Liga, and it shows historically that we actually do perform better than the Prem teams in the European competitions. And
Mhm.
I back our league against the Premier League, but I feel like now there's been a shift. Like and I feel that like watching the games, dude. Like you compare like we're talking about mid-table sides like Palace, dude. Palace, who won the FA Cup. We're talking about West Ham, who a couple seasons ago won the Conference League, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
these are like mid-table. You look at Villa. You look at a team like Forest, who were pushing top four, that now are 16th in the league. Like the level in the Prem on average is getting scary. And like you look at a team like Chelsea, who are playing these guys week on week. They have to be up to the top of their game. You know what I mean?
And Chelsea has just an obscene amount of depth and quality from like the starting 11 down the bench. So it's definitely like you mentioned. Part of it is due to the way that La Liga is being run, and it's this argument that comes up in a lot of professional leagues where it's like, do you go for just star quality or like trying to create these like super teams, or do you go for parity? And
Right.
often the answer is to make it more watchable, you want more parity. And La Liga has a great deal of parity this season, probably more than the
Right.
Premier League. I mean, it's almost like there's been a complete switch in the two cultures. But it's because of how La Liga is being run and all the financial fair play, and it works when you're not competing against other leagues. Like it works in the NFL very well.
Right.
There's a ton of
Right.
parity. It's improved the product. The NBA is trying to do a similar thing with the second apron and everything, but they're not playing against like teams in Europe that have like
League.
no restrictions. Yeah.
Yeah, a
So
super league. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
100%.
wait. So are you saying that we need a super league?
I mean, if we want to survive as Barca fans, I think we do, dude. I mean, dude, I'd argue the Premier League. I don't know why they would want a Super League because I see them as a Super League right now. I don't see why they would want any other
Yeah,
teams getting in on this product right now.
yeah. I think the Barcelona and Real Madrid are still the top teams in terms of reputation in the
Yeah.
world, where the top players, like you're talking about players like Lamine, who is a Barcelona product,
I
but
mean,
Mbappe,
you're talking about the guy that scored for Chelsea against us last night, Messinho. His whole dream was to come to Barcelona, right?
right, right.
Yeah, as a
Speaking
Chelsea
of
player,
players who scored yesterday, it's bad when Delap is scoring against.
dude, dude.
it's,
The thing is,
it's
like,
like
let
this guy hasn't
alone,
scored since this guy hasn't scored this season. His
yeah,
last goal
he
was
was
in the
injured.
Club World Cup.
Yeah, he was injured. The thing is, like, let alone, like, I think they put the ball in the net like 8 times.
Yeah,
Like, it was all offside goals. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it was not good, dude. And I even have some more points about it. I think one question I have for you maybe is, do you think we would have seen, and this is like what if, right? Of course. Would we have seen a different game? You move Eric to center back. Fun fact, actually, Yusuf, our cousin Yusuf, he actually wanted Jared Martin starting at center back, like he did against
At
Bilbao.
center back. Okay.
Yeah, which is what he did against. But besides the point,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's say we shifted Eric to center back instead of Araujo. Okay, we had Casado in this at DM, and then or no, not even Casado at DM. Let's say Pedri and Rafinha were fit. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
do you see that 11 getting something against that Chelsea side last night?
100%. I think that we could have got something against that Chelsea side if Araujo didn't get the red card. So I think that if you just assume that we're not, that whoever like Eric at center back is going to be less reckless than Araujo, then I think that that alone gives us a
Now
better chance.
follow up. Do you think that's sustainable for us to win the Champions League?
That
Like,
lineup.
yeah. So like essentially, all I've done is added in Rafinha and Pedri, right? Everybody else we had available.
I think we're talking about shifts in the way that football has been played, and part of it has happened slowly. Part of it was the change from 3 substitution to 5 substitution, but depth just matters more. Players are playing more games every season. There's more substitutions, so you can get players more minutes, and rotation and flexibility has never mattered more. And so I think if you're going to tell me let's put out our best starting 11 every day, every game, then yeah, I think we might have a chance. But then you're assuming no injuries. You're
Right. That's what.
assuming that we can like compete in La Liga, um, and the Champions League at the same time. There's a lot of assumptions. So I don't know. I think that yeah, I think our best 11 can compete with any other best 11 if everything is ideal and we have every player available. Then yeah.
Right. Well, it's just like that's not realistic as well, right? To always have your best 11 available. With that
Yes.
being said, I would say that Pedri and Rafinha, in my opinion, are the top. I mean,
With
two
Lamine.
of the best three players on our team, if not the
Yeah.
top two best players on our team.
Hmm.
And obviously, you're gonna miss them, right? So like Rafinha came on for 5 minutes, and for me, he had done more pressing and winning the ball back, and even his shot on target on Sanchez. Screw Sanchez, by the way, his comments post game. Um,
What
for
did he
me,
say? I missed that actually.
I'll tell you exactly what he said. But for me, those 5 minutes by Rafinha by themselves, I'm like, God damn, we missed this guy. We missed
Of
him
course.
so
He was the
bad, dude.
top goal scorer into the Champions League. Like
Yeah, dude. And
this
for me,
isn't
it was
like
just like,
a random guy that we're like, oh, he's important to our team. He's one of the best
right,
players in the world.
right. And for me, dude, it kind of put things into perspective. Like, okay, so I'm watching this game, right? And I watched Chelsea like absolutely like manhandle us in terms of physicality. But Rafinha, the way he was winning the ball back, kind of made me like step back a second and was like, is it that hard to win the ball back? Because
Mm.
the way he's doing is just like what I've been wanting the team to do the whole time, which is just go after, run after, win it back. He brought such a fresh of breath air, man, dude. Like we missed him, dude.
I mean, who
It's
who who from the starting lineup is going to have the quickness and the energy and the desire? That's how Rafinha plays, but that's not
right.
how Lamine plays. Even though he
Right.
could,
He does, yeah.
Lewandowski, even if he wanted to, couldn't. Ferran, even if he wanted to, couldn't. In my opinion, so I don't know. I mean, it's tough. Like you need someone who's willing to put pressure up top, and we don't have a lot of those players. It's probably just Rafinha and Rashford who I think could do that.
Yeah, I mean Rashford more. I would say like runs in behind. I think off the ball, he like lacks like pressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what would you make of? I want to ask you this because this is like a very like on fire topic online. What do you make of Lamine's performance? Because right now, you know what the narrative is online right now is that Esteval absolutely like bossed him and he ghosted Cucurella's man of the match and so on.
Well, I mean, I think Cucurella did an excellent job against Lamine. I think that the strategy was very clear. Don't let him get started, frustrate him, and I think it worked. And I think that something that I noticed that had me obviously he's our number 10. He's our best player on the team. I'm going to be comparing him to Messi from time to time. And Messi was one of those players where it's like, all right, you want to play me like this? All right, let's do it, And I'm going to fight through every challenge. Not like every time Cucurella puts an arm around him, he puts his hands up, it's like ref. It's like that. That to me is more of a mentality issue than it is really an ability issue. But I think that he he was our only threat going forward, and he was trying to make something happen. So I don't think his performance is as poor as maybe the
Right.
narrative
I,
is.
I pretty much completely agree. I mean, for me, it's like I'm not gonna compare anyone to Messi to be honest, because that guy's just
Yeah,
the best of all time. I
yeah,
see much more Neymar in him, like much
yeah.
much more.
But I mean, I don't feel like even Neymar. It's like if you want to bring me down, all right, like kick me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and he would fall easily. He had some
I think that
diving
also has to
spells,
do
but
with I like let's not forget his age. Like for me, it's like this guy is like an 18-year-old, seven whatever he is right now, like 18, I think,
mhm.
17-year-old kid. And I feel like even at this age, Messi and Neymar didn't have that like
Of
toughness to
course,
them,
yeah.
right?
No, yeah.
Um,
I'm not going to be too hard on
let me
Lamine.
tell you where I do knock Lamine though, because I completely agree with you. For me, he was by far our only like spark in the entire game. And I thought
I
even
could
had
tell, yeah,
yeah,
I could tell that he was getting frustrated though.
right,
Like it's like his mentality shifted from like I'm trying to do something to it's like, oh, they're just going to keep like they're gonna keep fouling me, and he's getting frustrated with the ref for not calling it every single
right,
time. And I'm
absolutely.
not saying like it's like they were fouls that I feel like he could have fought through. He could have
I
kept
agree. I
going,
agree.
you know.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we had the red and he couldn't see any like link up play ahead of him, right? Because like for example, even Firmino had to drop back. Like the entire team kind of just dropped back. So it was kind of like he was playing like yeah, I get what you mean. Like he was playing almost like nobody's here helping me, right?
And there
Type
was an
thing.
issue. Yeah, there was a general issue with mentality. Cubarsi, I mean not Cubarsi, sorry, Kunde when he scored the own goal. Araujo after the red card. Like
Yeah,
I
it was kind of like top
understand.
five.
Okay, nothing you do is going to change the ref's mind, but I wanted to see a little bit more passion. De Jong has always had this issue where it's like there just isn't this. Like you look at the Chelsea players, they're like I know they're playing at home and they have the crowd behind them, but they're hyping each other up. Cucurella every time he stops Lamine is like looks like he's just scored a goal, and I just didn't. I just felt like there was a difference in mentality.
Two points to that. One, I think that the difference of mentality goes back to the topic we were talking about week in, week out. I feel like we're almost not used to these like big game feels. Dude, Cucurella will do the exact same uh like knee side celebration, except he's tackling bloody Ollie Watkins on the weekend. You know what I
Right?
mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like instead us we're like, oh, we didn't score like my fifth. Lamine didn't get his consolation goal at the end of the game when we're playing
Hmm.
Bilbao, for example. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I feel like
Yeah.
that's where the mentality shift comes from. They're not used to these constant like high intense atmospheres like that we do in La Liga. And then the second point, I'm blanking.
That's
Just keep
fine. Let's actually a good time to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and maybe take some of your thoughts on like more specifics on the game, maybe, or just Barcelona looking forward.
Alright.
Okay, so we're back, and we've kind of outlined the problem that we think we're facing, where it's just like a lack of competition in La Liga, maybe a lack of passion mentality as a result. And I was wondering what you thought the solution to the problem is. Like, we obviously can't switch the league that we're in. Let's assume Super League is off the table for the foreseeable future. What would you do if you were Flick?
All right. So first of all, Flick has, I don't know if you saw it, but he promised us that we're gonna see a different Barca. Right. That's what he said. He's been
Mm-hmm.
seeing in training the last few weeks, especially with the players coming back, that we're gaining that intensity that we didn't see against Chelsea. Right. Um,
Yeah.
so that kind of brings me to what one of the solutions is, and this is obviously contingent on the fact that he stays fit. And it's actually the point that I was going to make about the mentality is that Rafinha, like I'm this guy in the starting 11 will be a breath of fresh air, absolutely, from the start of the season that we haven't had. So this I hope
Mm-hmm.
will be a turning point, like once he's back in the 11, and hopefully he stays fit and like this rubs off on the rest of the team, right? So that even if he doesn't come out, he sets the tone. Because for me, he's our captain. To be honest with you, like Araujo and De Jong, like they do not have like that mentality that you're talking about. It's not there. But Rafinha absolutely has it. And then the
Mm-hmm.
second thing is that for me, I don't know what we're like financially, but we need a center back in January. We need a
Mm-hmm.
left-footed center back in January.
Do you have anyone in mind?
Off the top of my head, there's a guy in Saudi that plays for Al Nasser named Inigo Martinez. Right.
Yeah.
Looking back on loan, dude.
Imagine him in a Barcelona jersey.
Dude. And then okay, so
Inigo's one of those players where we were connected with him like every summer, and then he finally came and he lasted this season.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Um and then that kind of like it goes without saying, but if Araujo starts another match in the Champions League, big game, it's a humiliation ritual, dude. We enjoy it. There's no way this guy can play for us again, starting when it's not striker.
Yeah, play him against Alaves, not against
Absolutely, dude.
Chelsea in the
You want to play
champ.
him against Alaves, you want to play him against Club Brugge, even, and we tie 3-3, sure. But you can't play him in the big games, dude. That's just impossible, right?
Yeah.
So I would say those are the main points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, and obviously, yeah, just hope players stay fit. And hopefully Rafinha takes us to the promised land.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, what were Gomez's comments after the game?
Oh, Sanchez.
Sanchez, sorry.
Yeah. So one, he was like, "Oh, so how do you feel about the fact that?" I mean, this one I don't really mind. He was like, "How do you feel like about the fact that you beat one of the favorites, the Champions League, Barcelona?" He's like, "No, no, no, we are the favorites, right?" And so
I mean,
this one's all
obviously
right.
he's
This one's
gonna.
all right. This one's all right. The
Yeah.
next one, this is one where I have more of an issue with because he's clearly like throwing a dig, right? He was like, "There are so many players that people call good, but how good are they really if they're not in the Prem, right? If they haven't played in the Prem, which is high key, he's roasting Yamal, right? That's what he's saying, right? Essentially, is that like this
Yeah.
guy hasn't done anything in the Prem, so you guys are overhyping the guy, right? And then there's one more comment, which I will pull up right now.
I mean, like, it doesn't surprise me that he's throwing these digs. Like,
But
for
you
me,
don't
it's
throw them
almost a sign
after.
of respect.
But do you throw them after? It's a bit
Bro,
cheap,
these
no?
guys are so hyped that they beat Barcelona. Like, you think he's making these comments after beating anyone else?
Oh, and okay, and then this one, dude. This one's nasty. This one's like the other ones were a bit of like a under the radar, like
Subtle,
side dig.
yeah.
This Cucurella had Lamine Yamal in his pocket, straight up. Just straight up
I wouldn't
shit.
say he had him in his pocket. I think he more so, um, I don't know. He just had him frustrated.
He had him
Like
frustrated.
it's not like he was covering him. He was just not letting him get started.
Yeah.
Mainly by being physical. So
Yeah, and these like fist pumps and chest bumps after every like tackle is just like I can imagine Lamin's frustration, and I feel like that also added to Cucurella's performance as if he like look, don't get me wrong, he I would say he frustrated Lamin, right? But it's not like he had some all timer. Like, I thought Nuno Mendes had a much better performance against Lamin than Cucurella did, to be
yeah.
honest.
Let me ask you. Speaking of Flick, and we've talked about this multiple times, but it feels like so we have this high line approach, right? And it felt like teams like Real Madrid seemed to have figured it out, right? And the reason we thought so is because last season they were constantly being caught offside. We were beating them every time we played, and then this season they're timing runs correctly, getting in behind. They scored like a bunch of goals against us, and so it ends up like you think like okay they've just figured us out, but then you play a team like Chelsea and it seems like they've also figured it out, except they never played us with this style before. And so it kind of reminded me of like a lot of high variance plays. So, for example, in American football in the NFL, there is this strategy of going for it on fourth down.
Right,
And sometimes the analytics will tell you you should go for it, and
right,
sometimes they'll tell you you won't. But even then, some coaches are more conservative than others. The Washington Commanders last season, with a rookie quarterback, went like, I don't even know what they went, like 12-5 or something, and they made the NFC Championship game. And they went and their fourth down conversion rate was like historical. They were converting on fourth down every time. And one might say, like, oh, okay, like they're just this is a great quarterback and this is a great team and they just know they're clutch, that
right.
this is this like clutch gene or whatever. Or they got lucky,
Right.
right?
So
Because
this
you're
is your
going for it on
question
like
about
fourth and one, fourth and two. And
so
this is what I'm saying. It's like
the
this
line.
this high line thing is a high variance thing. So maybe we just got lucky. Maybe now, we're reverting back to the mean.
Okay, you want my opinion on the High Line, and I think
Yeah.
this actually goes against like lots of the sentiment around it right now. I feel like right now, especially because we're conceding a ton, is like the whole thing's like abandon it, Flick, you monster! What are you doing, you one trick pony, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't see a problem with the High Line. Okay, that might sound controversial, especially because we're getting pumped, right?
Sure.
But but for me, But for me, right, I feel like this
Yeah.
is a proven strategy that we've seen under his Bayern Munich team, right? We've seen it last season with Barcelona, and I think you will continue to see it. I don't think that there are teams, for example, Liverpool last season, and to be fair, Liverpool this season have maintained a high line, right? I don't think this is like some sort of like groundbreaking tactic, nor is it some like dinosaur tactic, right? I think it's actually like a very viable strategy that many teams use, and there's some drawbacks and some value to it. My issue with it, and you could argue this is on Flick, is that we do not have, I think, the profiles for it, which is completely valid, right? If we had better center backs, I think you could go back to what we were saying last season, and you think like Flick is some tactical genius. And I think more so than just the center backs, which is obviously a major concern, and the fullbacks, I think we've regressed in the midfield and attacking lines much more in terms of our press than how we were pressing last season, and that's not a tactical adjustment, right? So even if let's say teams have figured out this tactic, it's a you should throw away the tactic, right? What Flick hasn't changed is that core midfield and attack pressing, right? They're meant to be pressing as they were last season, and they're not. I can see that for a fact, right? So the way I see it is that like this back line or this tactic isn't um something that's necessarily broken. I think it's more so the players like implementing it, right? So like if we had the right profiles at center back, if our team was pressing from the midfield and attack the same way that we were pressing last season, I could see it still working just as it was before. I don't see it
Yeah, but
as like we've been found out because dude, come on, like teams and they have footage, they have analysis. It's not like all of a sudden they found like a breakthrough in like football tactics and figured out
right,
how to beat us.
right.
Like I don't see it like that.
But I mean, you say, I guess, so that still begs the question: do you think we should change? We should change the tactic because you're saying that like the tactic itself, in its essence, is not a bad tactic. It's something that's worked in the past. It worked for us last season, but you need the right profiles, and we don't have the right profiles. So
Okay.
either we get the right profiles,
See,
or we adapt the tactic to fit the profiles we have.
while I agree with that, you just said profiles plural, right? The only player that we're missing is Inigo, right? Cubarsi, Balde, and Kunde were here last season. So I know that they're the right profile. Now, he's Lil Wayne this season, right? Like he's not playing football the same way he was playing last season, right?
Yeah,
Like like but as a profile, he should be able to do it. We saw him do it last season. As a profile, the rest of the team is the same. We haven't touched a thing besides you could say that quote unquote like Rashford's in the team instead of Rafinha because Rafinha's been out. And you never know, dude. Maybe you put in Rafinha, all of a sudden the press changes up in the attack and he revitalizes the team. But for me, it's like okay, I guess I'll agree with you in the sense of that like we can change the tactic now because we don't have that Inigo profile. But I think that's the only pieces that's missing for it to be working on paper, and then it's down to the players.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not. It is just one player, maybe, but it's a player that's extremely important to how you want to play. So I think the priority is to try and find that player in the winter transfer season. But if we can't, I feel like sticking to the same strategy that we've seen has not been working is, in my opinion, foolish. And at the end of the day, sports are about results, and you can like do everything that you like want to do or think is the right way to play or whatever. But if you don't have the players to implement it, then it's like Simeone with Atletico being like, okay, we can't compete with Real Madrid and Barcelona on skill and talent. Let's just knacker them, like that's just,
They've
and it
changed it.
worked, and
Yeah,
it's like it's not the most beautiful way to play,
let's just
but at the end of the day, it's how you win games, and
yeah.
that's what people can
I
remember.
just one thing is that, and I think I do this too. There's a bit of revisionism to how we were defensively last season. I think right, and like Inigo and even Inigo in that back line, especially towards the end, it went off the rails a bit, right? Especially
For
when
sure,
you
for
look at
sure.
that like an Inter game, for
It was
example.
like playing Araujo in the Inter game. Like
Right,
we're
right,
still playing.
right,
Like
right. And I just felt like we were conceding a lot of chances last season. He should have improved this season with the inclusion of Juan Garcia because he sweeps much better. He's obviously a better keeper. Um, but it was not as perfect as we remember it, and the attack and midfield and the amount of chances we were creating was making up for that. Right.
mhm. Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Well, like you mentioned, our next game is against Alaves, and then we have a midweek game against Atletico Madrid, which is always a big game, always a fun game, and then we have Real Betis the following weekend, and we're back in the Champions League against Frankfurt. So
Man, I hate losing to Prem teams, man. It sucks.
yeah, they're very obnoxious online. Huh?
Yeah, because that's like the one time they'll see us play, dude. And then it's like we,
Yeah,
and it's just gonna stay there until we're back against them.
Nah, bro. They'll see us. They'll see us in the Champions League final, no matter who it's against. All right. Well, I think we can wrap it up here. I'm gonna wait for Karam to get back. There are some things I want to talk about
You don't
with.
want to touch on the Lakers? Like, didn't Doncic fight with that one guy?
He didn't really fight. So yeah, yesterday the Lakers played the Clippers in the NBA Cup. The Lakers improved to 3-0 in the NBA Cup, top of their group, I guess, and they are currently 13-4, effectively second in the Western Conference. I'll say this: I've really enjoyed watching the Lakers this year. I think Luka is playing on a completely other level compared to last year when obviously a very emotional trade for him and coming back from an injury, being a little out of shape. So he's on another level. LeBron is back now, so we have our full team, and he seems to be integrating decently. There was some talk about him having like a very poor plus minus against the Jazz in the previous game. Um, but from what I've seen, I feel like he's been adapting, kind of deferring a little bit more, playing off ball, having little spurts of offense and defense. So I like the attitude that I'm seeing. Austin Reeves and Luka's chemistry has just been incredible. um, they've been they've both been able to kind of like make their own offense, score. Like I think Luca had 40. I want to say 42. I stopped counting at some point.
Yeah, damn. Stop
Luca
counting with
had
such a flex.
43. Luca had 43. Austin Reeves had 31. LeBron had 25. So like we're playing the Clippers, who are 5-13, but that's always a very
Right.
hotly contested game, and they had Kawhi and James Harden and their entire like team. So I've really liked what I'm seeing from the Lakers.
Sick, man.
That being said, I I still do not see their ceiling as much higher as I had it preseason. So I had them, I believe, third. Karam had them significantly lower, but you look at the Thunder, who have lost one game where they rested a couple of their players against the Trailblazers, and the Nuggets, who have looked incredible, and Jokic has been incredible. I think they're a cut above the rest, and I think the Lakers can be more so on like the Rockets level, somewhere around that third or fourth seed. So it's been fun, but as long as the Thunder are the Thunder, it's going to be tough. It's almost like being in the Western Conference with the like super team Warriors. It's like
Right.
you're probably not making the finals.
Right. Except the Lakers are making the final and they're winning the whole thing, so that's good.
It's possible, man. I mean, the Nuggets took the Thunder. A much weaker Nuggets team took the Thunder to 7 games last year, and the Pacers took the Thunder to 7 games. So they do look better this year, even compared to last year. But it's not like they're anything can happen, and when you have star power like Luka and LeBron and AR, they're not going to be afraid of this Thunder team when it comes down to it. I will say the one time we played them this year was an utter blowout. And so, it's not just us that they've been blowing out.
Maybe they fumbled somebody else before they match up with the Lakers.
Yeah, you never know, especially if we're able to get like a second seed, which is going to be difficult, but we're there now. Then we won't have to play them till the conference finals. If they play. If the Nuggets or the Rockets or someone take them to 7 games, then at least they might be weakened at that point. I I think I haven't revisited our preseason predictions, but I think my predictions are looking even better right now. I had the Bucks outside of the top 8, which I I said, without Giannis, they're a below average team, and they've been missing Giannis, and that's kind of how things have turned out. And the Warriors are the 8th seed and a step for a couple games, and they just can't produce offense without him. So I wanted to wait for Karam to get here to flex on him, but so far so good.
Don't talk too soon as well.
Of course, yeah, we're only 18 games, 17, 18 games
It's like
into the
Lamine,
season.
man. Lamine posted 4 times before games this season, and each one was a big game, and we lost every single one. So you better shut up.
Yeah, this is another one of those variance things where it's like he probably did the same towards the end of last season and actually ended up working out for him pretty well. So, high risk, high reward situation.
Right now it's just high risk
Uh,
and just no reward, dude. We're just getting cooked.
mhm.
It's not good.
The other thing I kind of wanted to touch on was the in-season tournament in the NBA. It's getting a lot of traction. Like at
Really?
first, I wasn't sure how things would go with it when it started a couple seasons ago, and it's like gained traction slowly. But at this point, people take it, somewhat seriously.
Isn't the
So
reward of it just like the players get paid?
$1 million each.
Right. I mean, like, do the fans care that much about it, or
I mean,
if
it's
it's working?
still
Working.
right. It's like at the end of the day, right? What about a one trophy makes fans care about it more than another? It's
Yeah.
the historical significance of it and the competition, how much people are bought into it, right? If the in-season tournament was a glorified summer league where they played their B team, it didn't count towards conference records or whatever, then no one would care,
I
right?
hear it.
But players are bought in. Like yesterday, I was watching the game, and at the end, it was a blowout. So they started resting players, which they do a little bit later in the in-season tournament games. But uh, Bronny came in, and the Lakers were up by like 20. And then the Clippers missed, and he grabs a
Oh,
rebound with like 5 seconds left, sprints to the other side of the floor and shoots through. I'm like, wait, are they about to fight? Like, what's going
yeah.
on, right? And then I remembered that point differential counts. So
Mhm.
it's just been accepted with all teams that we're just going to play till the whistle,
I saw
which I
that.
think is
I thought he
more
just
fun.
wanted to get on like the score sheet. Did he have any points?
He did not have any points,
Yeah.
but it wasn't just to get on the
Okay.
score sheet. It was just this is just how everyone approaches the in season tournament now. Like every point could count,
I guess. Yeah.
theoretically.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in the regular season or in the regular season game.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks for hopping on. I'm gonna let you go sleep since you're an 80-year-old man who needs like 9 hours that
Hey
falls
man,
asleep at like 7 p.m.
it's gonna be 11, dude. Come on, allow it.
It's 10 p.m. It's 10 p.m. there,
Right
right?
now, but by the time I shower and get
When you
ready,
scroll on Twitter
and I
and
like
yeah,
I deleted Twitter,
and listen to this podcast.
exfoliate,
Oh, okay.
skincare routine, all
You
that.
you deleted Twitter after the Chelsea game?
No, no, I've deleted Twitter for like a
Oh,
year.
okay. So where were you seeing all this stuff online? What do you normally go to?
I mean it's a bit sad, but I guess like TikTok and Insta. Like that's not
Oh,
exactly
so
like
you
the hub.
deleted
Like,
Twitter, but you still have TikTok and Insta. So why Twitter? I feel
dude,
like
Twitter is like a cesspool of like you'll see some dude's like head get blown off, and then like that's just
I don't know what algorithm you have,
well
dude, but
that's
all
what
right.
that's what ended up, dude. Like you can see like anything on Twitter, dude. It's crazy.
That's true, but usually they'll just show you what you want to see. So I
My
don't know. But
my for you page on TikTok and Instas were like class right now, so I'm just gonna stick to that.
okay, a better algorithm.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, I'm Ahmad. With me has been Amr, and we'll see you next time. Peace.